The math doesn't lie. I want to show you a number. $150,000. In 2005, that number meant you had made it. You were upper middle class. You owned a home. You took vacations. You saved for college. You had breathing room. In 2026, that same number in California, New York, New Jersey, or Hawaii does not make you wealthy. It does not make you upper middle class. In many of those states, it barely makes you comfortable. And if you have kids, student debt, a mortgage you bought before rates hit 7%, and an RTO mandate that just added $800 a month in commute costs, $150,000 might be keeping you exactly one bad month away from crisis. You are not bad with money. You are not failing. You are the target of the most sophisticated financial compression campaign in modern American history. And nobody on the earnings call is going to explain it to you. This is what the talent. The $150,000 poverty line. Let's do the math they never showed you. Let's start with geography, because this story is different depending on your zip code, and most people don't know exactly where they stand. Smart Asset ran the numbers using the standard 50/30/20 budget, 50% to needs, 30% to wants, 20% to savings and retirement. Here is what they found. In Massachusetts, a single working adult needs $116,000 a year just to live comfortably. A family of 4 with 2 working adults needs $301,000. In California, $113,000 for a single adult, $276,000 for a family of 4. In New York, $111,000 for a single adult, $278,000 for a family of 4. Read those numbers again. A family of 4 in California needs $276,000 a year, combined, to live what researchers define as comfortably. Not luxuriously. Comfortably. Meaning vacations, retirement savings, and the occasional emergency. Your $150,000 household income in San Francisco, or Boston, or New York City is not a 6-figure salary. It is a survival wage with a comma in it. And even in the states where $150,000 stretches further, Texas, Florida, Ohio, Georgia, the compression is still happening. Because it is not just about geography. It is about what the dollar itself has become worth since 2020. Home prices nationally rose 171% between 2000 and 2024. Daycare costs have surged 39% since 2019. 7 in 10 Americans in a 2025 poll said raising a child is unaffordable, up from 58% the year before. And by late 2025, total household debt in America surpassed $18.5 trillion, with families committing over 11% of take-home income to debt payments before a single grocery run. This is not a personal failure. This is a structural condition. And it has a name, the Great Contraction. The math of the squeeze, the 4 invisible pay cuts. Here are 4 invisible pay cuts landing on you simultaneously in 2026. Let me walk you through all 4. Invisible pay cut 1, the wage growth trap. Wage growth has slowed every year since 2022. The New York Fed confirmed it. Average wage increases dropped from 5.6% in 2022 to 3.4% in 2025, and are projected to slow further to 2.9% in 2026. Meanwhile, the cost of living is rising faster than your raise. You got a 3% raise. Inflation took most of it. You broke even at best. Invisible pay cut 2, the health insurance extraction. The numbers here are brutal and they are brand new. In 2025, the average cost of employer-sponsored health insurance reached $17,496 per employee, a 6% increase. For 2026, Mercer projects that number will exceed $18,500, a further 6.7% jump. That is more than double the current rate of inflation. More than double. For a family of 4, the average employer-sponsored premium hit $26,993 in 2025, with employees contributing nearly $6,850 out of pocket. And 59% of employers are now raising deductibles and co-pays on top of the premium increase, hitting you on both ends simultaneously. Healthcare costs have risen faster than wages for more than 2 decades. And the New York Fed's data confirms the mechanism. It is not just that insurance costs more. It is that your employer is choosing between raising your salary and covering your insurance. And insurance is winning. Invisible Pay Cut 3, the RTO Cost Bomb. A 3-day RTO mandate for a professional in Seattle costs $38,000 per year in commute, time, food, and childcare costs. A 5-day RTO mandate for a marketing manager in New York costs $35,000 per year. These are not estimates. These are calculated costs using IRS mileage rates, actual transit prices, and childcare market rates. You did not get a pay cut memo. You got a return to office policy. The result is the same. Invisible Pay Cut 4, the compliance tax. This one is the most dangerous because it is invisible by design. A squeezed employee is a compliant employee. An employee with no savings, high bills, and a mortgage payment that requires their next paycheck to clear, that employee does not negotiate. Does not say no to unreasonable demands. Does not leave a toxic manager. Does not take the risk of filing a complaint. Your financial stress is not a personal problem your employer is indifferent to. It is a structural condition some employers actively rely on. The debt keeps you at the desk. The premium keeps you in the seat. The compliance tax is paid every time you don't push back because you can't afford what happens if you do. That is the system. Now let's talk about how to leave it. The solution, the portfolio pivot. The era of the single income source is not just economically risky. In 2026, it is the highest risk financial position a professional can hold. Think about what single source income actually means. One CEO controls your ability to pay your mortgage. One restructured decision eliminates your health insurance. One PIP eliminates your retirement contributions. One bad Monday morning meeting eliminates everything simultaneously. The architects of 2026 are professionals who are not just surviving the contraction, but positioning through it, are building what I call the portfolio career. And I want to be precise about what this means, because the framing matters. A portfolio career is not a side hustle. A side hustle is reactive, something you do after hours because you need extra cash. A portfolio career is a deliberate architectural decision about how you earn. It has 3 components. And they work together. Component 1, the anchor role. This is your current employment. The W-2. The benefits. The 401k match. You do not quit this Monday morning, that is emotional, not strategic. You keep it. You optimize it. You use the tools from File 05 to make yourself as protected as possible within it. But you stop treating it as your only source of income, your only source of identity, and your only source of leverage. It is the anchor, not the whole ship. Component 2, the fractional role. This is where your institutional expertise becomes a separate revenue stream. 5 to 10 hours a month. A retainer. A specific deliverable. A problem you have already solved multiple times in your career, now packaged and sold to a company that cannot afford a full-time version of you but desperately needs what you know. Component 3, the digital asset. This is income that does not require your time to be present. A toolkit, a guide, a template, a system you built that someone else purchases and uses without a single hour of your calendar being consumed. It is not passive in the fantasy sense, it requires upfront work to build. But once built, it generates revenue whether you are in a meeting, asleep, or managing a PIP. When these three components are operating simultaneously, even at small scale, a layoff transforms from a catastrophe into an inconvenience. You have not lost your income. You have lost one client. The other two are still running. That is the difference between financial vulnerability and financial architecture. The execution, how to start the exodus strategically. 3 moves. Execute them in this order. Do not skip ahead. Move 1, the Ghost Skills Audit. Open a document right now, or after this video, and answer one question: what do you do at work that is not in your job description? Not your title. Not your official responsibilities. What do you actually do that people come to you for? The thing colleagues ask you about informally. The problem you solve that nobody has officially given you credit for. The institutional knowledge you have accumulated across years that lives entirely in your head. That is your fractional product. Not a new skill you need to develop. Not a certification you need to pursue. The thing you are already doing, for free, inside your employer's ecosystem, is the thing a smaller company would pay you $150 to $300 an hour to bring to their situation. The Go skill is already there. The audit makes it visible. The packaging makes it sellable. Move 2, the NDA shield. Before you build anything external, you need to understand your boundaries, not to be paralyzed by them, but to operate cleanly inside them. 2 documents matter here: your non-disclosure agreement and your non-compete clause. Read both. Today. Not when you need them. Here is the principle that protects you in almost every jurisdiction: you do not sell trade secrets. You sell methodology. You do not sell your employer's client list. You sell the framework you use to build client relationships. You do not sell proprietary processes. You sell the professional judgment you have developed across a career. Once you know your boundaries, operate confidently inside them. Methodology is yours. Expertise is yours. Judgment is yours. Move 3, the efficiency gap. This is the move that makes the portfolio career operationally possible without burning out. The efficiency gap is the difference between how long your anchor role takes when you are using AI tools and how long it was designed to take. In 2026, a professional who is fluent in the right AI tools can do in 3 hours what used to take 8. That is not speculation, it is the reason Block went from 8 engineers to 1. But here is the strategic inversion, where Block used that efficiency gap to eliminate employees, you use it to create capacity. You are not slacking. You are not stealing time. You are optimizing the most valuable resource you have, your attention, and directing the surplus toward your own financial architecture. This is not the Great Resignation. You do not quit Monday morning. You build, quietly, strategically, with receipts, until the portfolio generates enough that the anchor role becomes optional. That is the moment your leverage returns. That is the moment the compliance tax stops working on you. That is the moment you stop being squeezed and start being free. The portfolio career is not a side hustle. It is the structural response to a system that was designed to keep you dependent. And building it starts, not when you get laid off, not when the PIP lands, not when Monday morning arrives, it starts now. While you are employed. While you have time. While the pressure has not yet become a crisis. Because the people who build the portfolio career before they need it are the ones who navigate the contraction on their own terms. $150,000 is the new $60,000. Not because you spent it wrong. Because health insurance costs rose 6.7% while your wages grew 2.9%. Because your RTO mandate costs you $35,000 a year that nobody put in your offer letter. Because home values rose 171% in 25 years, while your paycheck grew incrementally. Because the compliance tax is real, the debt is structural, and the squeeze was engineered. But here is what they did not account for: you now know the mechanism. And the moment you understand the mechanism, the moment the math is visible, you can start making decisions that the system did not anticipate. You can audit your ghost skills. You can build the NDA shield. You can find the efficiency gap and redirect it toward your own architecture. The portfolio career is not a fantasy. It is a structural decision. And it is available to you right now. Not when things get better, not when the market opens up, not when you have more time. Right now, with the skills you already have, in the hours you already have, on the terms you negotiate yourself. This is what the talent. The Great Contraction is real. The $150,000 poverty line is real. And the move, as always, is yours.